let me take a time and say a gracious good Friday morning to the entire Trial Estate Grenada, our sister isles of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of To The Point Friday, the first day of July, the start of a brand new month. The month of July, those of you who celebrated within this particular month, happy advance to you. If you celebrate, if it's your birthday today, hey, good morning and happy birthday to you. Let me say good morning to the viewers via GVN TV. Good morning, whether you're viewing via channel 711 or channel 20. Good morning. Let me say good morning to our online viewers, those of you via Facebook. Good morning. Our Facebook page viewers there. Good morning. Those of you who are probably tuning in via our YouTube channel. Good morning to you also. Hope all is well with everyone this morning. I'm not feeling 100% for some reason or the other this morning, but suddenly I'm here to take you through. That's what's up with me this morning. Something is just not a-okay with me this morning for whatever reason. I'm not going to bombard you with my feelings because I know how to control that. Not going to make that an issue as we move along this morning. So it's another open line segment for To The Point for today. Of course, what a week it has been for me thus far. And it was great hosting the program for the week. And I'll be out here for this, the final day for me on it for this week per se. All right. Joseph's going to take over from next week. And we're taking your phone calls. It's the number you call. It's 435-2041. That's 435-2041. And I guess we have lots to talk about today. Yesterday we had the swearing in of the government or the cabinet ministers per se. Those we offered their various portfolios in the various ministries that they will be running. I guess let's get your take on that in terms of how you feel about the ministers who have been appointed to the various ministries and so forth. I know your take. Maybe you want to send out some congratulations to them pertaining to the particular ministry they have gotten and so forth. Certainly we will accept your phone calls with that. And let's keep it a bit short. And of course, say your say. Good morning. Let's take a very first caller. How are you this morning, caller?
Hi, I'm very much fine.
All right.
And I would like to big up Ray Charles from Coco Road. Ray Charles and his boys for having time fix Coco Hill before the rain come down. Big up Ray Charles from Marion Coco Road. Ray Charles and his boys. Thank you.
Okay, my dear. Have a good day. Thank you. Not sure what that means. Ray Charles from Coco Road. I don't know. Good morning to Ray Charles and the boys over Coco Road. And as in the intro that I mentioned, of course, we're taking your calls this morning. You could probably, of course, I will probably try to give out some information pertaining to the various ministers and the ministries that was awarded to them. We had a certain ceremony yesterday evening, and certainly hope. Are you pleased or not pleased with what you saw in terms of the different portfolio that was offered to the ministers? Are you happy? Let's get your feedback on that. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Mr. GT. What's up, man?
I am doing okay, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
Well, I did say I'm feeling okay. Not 100% this morning for whatever reason, but let me don't put my burdens on your back.
I know what you say, my brother. Well, you need to drink some, take some lime and some honey.
Well,
yeah, it's a good remedy for the cold or something, you know?
I'm going to try that.
Yes, my brother.
All right.
First thing, I have to congratulate the new administration, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, for putting his cabinet together yesterday. But what I don't really like about the swearing of the Majesty the Queen, Legion to the Queen. I find time for us to get rid of the Queen as head of state. I find, they should, and even the Constitution, we should, since 1972, we have that Constitution made by the Queen. And I find time we should get a new Constitution, even the currency. I find we should have our own currency that is real, total independence. Because we still have the Queen as head of state, we still have the Queen face on the dollar. I find time for us to get rid of the Queen and, let me put somebody more local than the Queen. I find, these people and them have been doing things for years upon years, generation after generation. We have to pay our allegiance to the Queen. I find time to get rid of the Queen. And I will leave that there, GT. You have a nice day, brother. One love.
You too, brother. For all the best. Thank you, caller, there for your contribution. And that caller, of course, he thanked the new government and the ministers wearing and take in terms of the pledging their allegiance to the Queen. That could be another conversation in time to come. We could probably hear. I've been listening to the honorable Prime Minister speaking on that per se, and didn't give anything conclusive, but maybe he'll look into it. Said it's not an urgent issue for his government now to do in terms of moving away from the monarchy, but you never know, in time to come there may be a change of thought. Good morning to you, caller. How are you?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Just want to extend hearty congratulations to the government of Grenada. I think it was a team well put together.
All right.
I know persons have been calling, saying that it was time that the government be soon and all of that. But if you look at what took place, I think it took some time, and I think, in my opinion, it is well done. I just want to pray God that they stick together as a team and they work together as a team. I also want to congratulate him on making that bold step of paying the teachers the dock pay. I mean, there must be some happy campers this morning. So we want to just lift them up and ask God to continue to guide them to make the right decisions, and that they would really fulfill the mandate that they promised the Grenadian people. Blessings.
All right, thank you so much, caller. Despite whatever happens, folks, it's all in the benefit of this beautiful tri-island, folks. Whatever happens now, it's for the benefit of this beautiful tri-island. So folks, we just have to pray, as the caller said, and hope that everything that the government now sets out to do will benefit us all as a whole. Let's go over to the phone line. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Regarding the constitutional monarchy that people talk about and pledging allegiance to the Queen, this is only by word of mouth.
All right.
Nobody in Grenada adores the Queen, respects the Queen, or hold her in very high esteem. As a matter of fact, the puppet that is put there as a representative of the Queen is always a Grenadian, getting Grenadian money. Is not to say there is an overseas person from Great Britain coming to Grenada and taking a salary that is expatriated back to Britain. And as a matter of fact, the GG is nothing but a political puppet to the existing government. That's why when governments change, they simply send a name up to Britain, and that name is given the status of Governor General. At least I expect the current one to be removed.
Okay, caller.
And I expect some person with a little bit of more dignity to be put there. But it doesn't matter who is there, because generally the Prime Minister determines who is there. And usually there is total cooperation with the Prime Minister as Chief Executive.
All right, cool.
So I don't have much of a problem. But it can be changed. There are lots of constitutional matters within the existing constitution that need to be changed. In fact, I think ideally proportional representation is an essential item in our new constitution, and I believe too that this government seems to be a bit far more favorable to the people of Grenada. The two attempts at constitutional reform in Grenada was more manipulated by the so-called executive or cabinet to tie a rope on the people's neck. The people identified that and rejected it. However, I believe that if this government undertakes certain constitutional change, it will be very relevant, and I believe the people would go for it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much for your contribution. And just to kick it off, just to give you some live, if we take another call, at least I can throw in 3 of the ministers' names. We have, that's Quincy Britton. He's sworn in as the Senator in the Parliament of Grenada. We also have Senator the Honorable Gloria Farmers, Minister of State, with responsibility for social development and gender affairs, and that's within the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. We have Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette, Minister of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. So just take that free for now. Let's take another caller as the morning progresses.
Good morning, Mr. Telford.
Good morning to you, sir.
Listen, I don't normally contradict people, but your last caller made a significant point, which I'd like to contribute to. And to an extent, show some differences. Yes, take it easy. Listen, it's a problem in this here country where we accept things two ways. Now, if you look at even the Bible, it speaks of the way things are manifested. In word and in tongue, T-O-N-G-U-E. That means the blah, blah, blah. But there is another way, that of deeds and truth. The question here is, piggybacking on what the last caller said, why should we be paying allegiance to a queen when in fact it isn't so? Because that's what he said. I am saying that if we are not in allegiance to the queen, then we shouldn't even mention her. It's time to chuck her. And when I say chuck her, I mean chuck her far from. These people have abused our ancestors. They bask in riches, glory, wealth, fame, poetry, on the sweat, blood, and tears of our ancestors. And I say it is time to get rid of them. Down with colonialism, now and forever, through a new constitution written by our people, because we have the capacity, and not lawyers anymore, to write our own constitution, to devise a method and a path forward for our country, outside of the queen and her realm and her heirs, or heirs as some of them call it, and successors. Down with colonialism now. As soon as this government settles in, a year we'll give them, and the issue will be put on the table, mobilizing the people to demand a referendum on whether or not we want to continue to live under an imperial order in council of the Queen's most excellent majesty, or if we want to write our own constitution amongst ourselves through a constituent assembly. That is the way to go. Let us emancipate ourselves once and for all from the millstone of British colonialism. Thank you very much and have a nice day, will you?
All right, thank you very much, caller. And we taking your calls this morning. And I did mention, of course, 3 of the certainly, of course, appointees already. And let's get another in before we entertain another call. We have Senator Honorable Adrian Farmers, Minister of State with responsibility for agriculture, fisheries, and cooperative. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
Doing good, doing good.
Something I'm trying to understand.
Yes.
And follow. The Prime Minister is speaking one language, and the tails and they must start saying other things.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to unite the country. He wants to. We know all the wrongs as maybe supporters, as those as the leaders. We know all what happened. But why are we going on these kind of things? The gentleman said, if you're doing your job, he wouldn't leave. You will remove you, and you'll go to do what you do, completely do what you do, and if you cannot do, they'll do the screening and see. But we all are Grenadians, all the people in anywhere, what positions, they serve Grenada and all of us. Why come in and shaming the people and say, move Governor General, put another one day and do that? If I am the Prime Minister, I go into the Governor General, I sit and ask her, do you want to remain or you want to resign? Simple. If she wants to remain, you leave her. It's a Grenadian. We want to go forward, but how can we go forward with just bashing we know exactly what happened, what is what. Just monitor things and work it out slowly. Then you're going condemning, everybody's condemning. The man is speaking one language along ahead. Let's go forward. Let's go. How you're going this way, going there. Another thing about going and what get away from Queen and what, somebody just explain it. What is just you're saying something, but you after that you can do your work, do what you want to do. You go and do that. One way they're going to think. All the countries that abolish that, don't you see they have their own dollar? And then you notice now the same of this country, all the money are devaluing and all this kind of. We're gonna fall in the same category. Let us use things. A gentleman from the revolution, he said, after they come from prison or whatever, and he said, and they asked him if you have to do that again, what to do. He said the mistake we made is like to complain to America.
Okay.
When you see a lion sleeping, don't go teasing it and make noise. Pass you another way and do your job. Do what you have to do. Because if you wake it, it's going to eat you up.
Thank you for your contribution, caller. Thank you very much for your contribution this morning. 435-2041, that's the number here at K105 GBN TV. It's to the point. It's Friday, the first day of July, and I will continue giving you the names of the various ministers and the ministries. We have Senator the Honorable David Andrew, Minister of Education, Sports, Youth and Sport. We also have MP-elect Honorable Lennox Andrew, Minister of Economics Development, Tourism, Planning and ICT. The MP-elect Honorable Andy Williams, Minister for Mobilization. Let me get my phone all tapped off there. Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation. We're taking your calls. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Hello.
Good morning, caller. How are you?
Greetings, brother. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
You sure? Because I heard you said, well, 100%.
Can't pour my bad feelings out on the nation. I'm good.
It's true. Well, we didn't know in the chat bit about that someone, maybe just say, it just suggested it could be cold, especially with the weather. Mm-hmm. But all of us exposed to that too. So I hope psychologically it's not to the extreme.
It's not to the extreme.
We all are human beings. We have challenges domestically, personally, with ourselves, and then, the environment. So take it easy and pray for one another.
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy as usual. Again, not easy to get you when someone gets you. I think the last caller.
Yes.
Fundamentally, I love the point. I like the point he made. Mm-hmm. In fact, going along some of the discussion thus far for the past few weeks, but more in particular after the new administration came in, when the party won, there need to be a transition point, a phase when election is called to when election actually takes place. Mm-hmm. And from when election takes place to when you have the swearing in and whatever. The Constitution does not explain this in detail. And this is, to me, one of the areas we need to address, maybe in serious administrative reform, but particularly, we could say, constitutional reform. What the Constitution does speak about is a period within which the first sitting of Parliament must take place. But in terms of when a new party wins, especially one which has been in a position out of government, I think it should be the moral responsibility of persons in diplomatic circles, on boards, statutory organizations, things like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe they can submit their resignation. But again, that don't have to take place. As the person pointed out in terms of the Governor General, I like his approach. The new administration should not just politically, and by the way, I think I should call his name, we all know him by now, he's prominent, Mr. Marshall. Again, the points he made, they are worthwhile. But because a Governor General and most other executive offices from a political point of view. But the last caller approach the Governor General, whosoever it is, some key areas, the diplomatic corps, them kind of people, and them for ambassadors of Grenada, and relate to them and ask them, try to find out from them what the position, and you as the new executive. That's the point I want to make.
Okay.
During the time when you've been in opposition and you're criticizing and you're trying to be in there, you should have been noting the performances, some gripes that you and concern that you have about these persons and their position. So when you go there not only to ask them if they would like to, but to also let them know what has been your grave concerns and would like to see improvement. And give them a time tea and have some assessment and get the feel, the pulse of the people in the nation and what your policy all about and how they're performing. Then you have a rationale to me for any changing. But if we have to go on a serious, sensible way of transformation, preserving employment, making sure everybody feels settled and unified, I keep repeating myself. Fundamentally, I like the point made by the caller. But we need to have a more formal way of doing such things. The public service itself, the core, is there. Is there to maintain certain things in terms of government, the framework of government is central. But these other areas, statutory boards and things, we need to know how to operate on that. So some projects that have been implemented even on the verge of calling election, we have to know how to go about doing that. And as I end, let me say here, I'm disappointed. I know different people have different views. We all subject to that. But in the whole idea of transformation and unity and respecting one another, let us respect one another. I am pro-constitutional reform.
All right.
100%. And I see no reason, absolutely no reason why, even though our past Prime Minister said, well, he will not venture a referendum again, and he has a reason for saying that. And even though he has said that, that don't mean to say that he would not have done it or he will not do it. That is politics, especially when it comes to him. People are constantly making certain points. Then when tomorrow come and you lie down and you think about it, you change your mind. So I should have liked to see in the manifesto of even this party, NDC, specifying constitutional reform. In 2018, it was there in the manifesto. We can have transformation of a party in its radical way. Certain essential things must be replaced and continue. And I did not hear it, but I'm picking up that this present Prime Minister do as if constitutional reform is not a key for him or immediate matter. I take objection to that. That's my position.
Okay,
because
caller.
a lot of work, extensive work, have already been done on constitutional reform. It's a matter of having setting the pace. And we don't have to do it in a big radical way. But in the same way you want the views of the people, you know, put in the mind of the people that yes, it will come. When he was on some of your programs, he did say that the present system that we have, the constitutional system, is prone to political abuse. He said that his words. So I am saying that while Brother Rollo saying give me a year, I am disappointed that I don't see an emphasis. And if we are waiting on the people, to be honest with you, what I'm hearing, even this morning, the people have been calling for constitutional reform. The people see a need for it. But they need direction from the political directorate, and is where the people go. I say, where the people go, where the political directorate, the Prime Minister and so on, lead them. And it will be very difficult for the people on their own to ask for a referendum. Is the powers that be, and that's how we will continually be abused, because sometimes we change party, but all them head in one, and Grenadians keep going in circles, being abused. And when they verge up maybe an election or some other key issue, they bring up sensitive matters.
Okay, caller, I think you should wrap up for now. All right, thank you so much for your contribution. There's a lengthy contribution there from that caller. It's 25 minutes after the hour. Let's take our very first break, and on return, we continue with more here on To The Point. It's an open line for today. We're coming right back.
They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath.
you mentioned the wing kai, then you have things like man, you must come back, you know. We have the low power there.
It is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page and YouTube channel for We Culture.
Welcome back, folks, viewers and listeners. It's To The Point for Friday, the 1st day of July, 2022. It's another open line segment, folks. And before the actual break, we had callers calling, expressing their views. I will continue to give you the names of the ministers and the various ministries that they will be elected to run. And let's kick it off with this one right now. The MP-elect, the Honorable Philip Telesford, Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. We have MP-elect Honorable Karine James, Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy. And I'll take this one before we go back to the phone lines. Let me tap this caller in, so when I get through with this, I'll bring that call up live. MP-elect Honorable Ron Redhead, Minister of State with responsibility for youth and sports within the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport. Let's go over to the caller. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Many of us have eyes to see, but yet we cannot see. Ears to hear, yet we cannot hear. And you interpret it how you like. Now, constitutional reform could be good, but a lot of other benefits or merits or demerits may come with it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'll ask myself, are we independent or fully independent? Do we get help from other countries abroad? Let's assume we, in the Constitution, we put things that are not likely to aggravate the other countries that help us. What do you think would become of us? We are not self-sufficient. When you look at it, a few weeks back, everybody crying out. Even the past prime minister crying out, oh God, fight in Russia. We cannot get food. Imagine how many thousand or perhaps million of miles Russia is away from us. And yet we're talking about, oh, what going to become of us? What going to become of us? We can't get rice. We can't get this. We can't get that. Suppose we change our constitution and we say that the queen or whoever it is no longer in charge. When I say in charge, whether loosely in charge or tightly in charge of us, what would become of us? Our money, to some extent, our currency is tied on with the pound and the US dollar and this and that. Doing this constitutional reform is good. Now, we have a lot of problems. I think so. I do not know. That's what the past minister said, and those who are perhaps in line now are still saying, when we get constitutional reform, are we going to change? Are these things problems going to be changed instantaneously?
I guess not.
Well, okay. So then let us talk and do the immediate things to make our country be progressive and so to some extent self-sufficient. We have to grow our own food. This is what our emphasis would say. And stop importing most of the things. How many? Look at you. Your mother could become rich if she sold all the mangoes are falling and spoiling. I end by saying this. Thank you.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution this morning. It's To The Point here on K105 and GBN TV. We have for you MP-elect Honorable Tevin Andrew, Minister for Carriacou and PT Martinique Affairs and Local Government. We have MP-elect Honorable Dennis Cornwall, a Minister for Infrastructure and Physical Development, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation, and Transportation. Let's go back to the phone line and entertain another caller this morning. Caller, good morning. How are you? Good morning, caller. Guess that caller tapped out on us there just a wee bit. It's to the point, folks. It's an open line, and in the process of awaiting the callers, I will give in the information pertaining to the MPs elect and the various ministries that they are called to be in charge of. Let's go back to the phone line once again. Caller, good morning. How are you? Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, caller? Good morning to you.
I'm doing very well, and how are you doing?
I'm there.
All right, so I'm making this point. The last caller made a very interesting point. Mm-hmm. He said that Grenada, Grenadians have been clamoring for not being under the sovereignty of the Queen.
Yes.
And there's some wisdom in that, because my question, you may not be able to answer, but my question is, what are the ways in which Grenada has been benefiting from being under the royal monarchy? I do not know that the Queen of Britain gives assistance or British aid or UK aid to Grenada as has happened in the past. I cannot recall in the news how many years we have not received anything meaningful or tangible from the Queen. Yes, the Queen may be paying the Governor General's salary and upkeep for her tenure in office. But what has Grenada been benefiting from over the years? Mm-hmm. And the second point he made is very interesting. Grenada at this time needs to focus on its own development so that we can become as far as possible self-sufficient. He mentioned the question of all the mangoes that we have wasting and other fruits, throughout the year. And I keep saying the same thing. It is time for our governments to focus on setting up industries so that we can process our raw material, turn them into finished goods, so that we can supply ourselves. In fact, what we have been doing is exporting the best of what we produce. Recently, I was told that the best fish, the mahi-mahi and the swordfish and so on, the whitefish, they're being exported abroad to the U.S. and probably other markets. Mm-hmm. And what is being supplied here, as far as a restaurateur told me, is a red blood fish. What we need to understand is these resources belong to the people. We are first-class citizens. The first grade should be ours. We need to treat our people with more dignity and pride. And the people are the ones to make that call. We need to set up various industries so that we can dry all our plantain and breadfruit and cassava and make our own snacks, so that we can even be self-sufficient and export in the region, as has happened in the past. So we need a shift, a paradigm shift, for us to come out under the Queen. Of course, that has to take legislation. It's going to take time. We might want to become a republic as Barbados has become and so. But the question is, are we self-sufficient enough to be able to say, look, we are going to pull ourselves from under all of these bodies that has been governing or having interest in us over the years to no benefit. We need our people to start working again.
All right, caller, thank you so much.
To understand the virtue of work, and we need our heads, hearts, and hands need to come together to build this nation again.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution this morning, and thank you so much. And the number 435-2041, and we taking your calls this morning. Share your thoughts, your concerns, as I continue to share with you information pertaining to the MPs and of course their various portfolios in terms of ministries that they will be running. So the Honorable elect, or should I say MP elect, Honorable Joseph Andel, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, as a ministry he will be running. Also the Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Minister of Finance, National Security, Home Affairs, Public Administration, Information and Disaster Management. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning. How are you? Good morning to you, caller.
Good morning, GT.
Good morning.
And good morning to all your listeners and everything. I have been listening with some interest to the contributions this morning, especially to the last two callers concerning, coming away from the sovereignty of Queen Elizabeth, the British Empire crown, however it is to be termed. And just wondering if maybe someone, maybe in a special program or so, could go into what would be involved in coming away from being a part of that. And would we lose certain benefits of being a member of the Commonwealth? And especially, I have to admit, what will happen to our currency? I was saying, if our currency is to be affected in any way, that we need to remember the EC dollar is one of the most stable currencies, not just in the region, but in the world. It may not be of one of the highest values, but in terms of stability, wow, you know?
I understand that.
And when you look at the other nations, not to take up too much more time, but a few more examples. Even when you have resources, it's not just about having resources. Grenada has loads of them. Our cocoa, for example, that's just one thing. That's one of the best grades of cocoa in the world. Nutmeg, that's a one-of-a-kind product. And yet, those things need to be properly managed. Look at Guyana. They have gold. A wonderful grade of gold. Trinidad has oil. But when you go into a bank, this is not to degrade Trinidad or Trinidadians in any way, it's just a raw fact. What would you do or could you do here in Grenada with a Trinidad dollar? So maybe there's some things that we have with our current system that we may be taking for granted. I could be wrong, and that's why I'm suggesting maybe a program to outline what would be involved in coming away from swearing sovereignty to the Queen, what would be involved in turning away from that, and what would we be turning to, especially in relation to the value of our money.
All right, Thank you so much for your contribution, caller, and certainly do understand where that caller is coming from there. It's to the point for today, Friday, the first day of July. Let's go back to the phone line and entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, sorry, GT, sorry for calling. Mr. Rolo, I know he's listening. Could you give me a call, Mr. Rolo? I have some information for you.
All right.
Concerning your old body up Upper Senja, Mr. Rolo. Could you call me on 442 8174. Mr. Rolo, please call me. I have some information for you. Thank you, Mr. GT.
All right, caller. There. Guess a little announcement there for Mr. Rolo. It's to the point. Let's grab another caller this morning before we take another break. Good morning to you, caller. How are you?
Yes, I fully agree with the penultimate caller.
Yes.
I fully agree. Not that I don't want that we get rid of the monarchy. But let's face it, how does it affect us? How will it affect us? These are things we have to look at.
Exactly.
But constitutional reform is essential because I see a number of things in the Constitution that need to be eliminated or upgraded so we can go ahead with constitutional reform. Okay? But I'm not going to hate Britain in my old age You understand? We have to look at our politicians and what our politicians are doing with our country in this present state. Thank you.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. More of your calls. Just a few more minutes left on the show this morning. We due for another break. Let's take it when we come back. We entertain more of your phone calls here on To The Point for today, Friday.
They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN Television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it.
Feel good facts. Avoid the most common causes of spreading the flu. Cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue, dispose of it straight away, and either wash your hands or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
My granddaughter.
With you the morning time. It's To The Point for today, Friday, and it's another open line segment here for you on To The Point. Good morning to listeners and viewers worldwide. Good morning once again. We have a call online. Let's go over to the caller. I guess we have lost that caller there. You have the opportunity to call in this morning, folks. Share your views, your thoughts. Give out the names of the various portfolios that will be that have been awarded per se to the various ministers this morning. Did that. So it's an opportunity for you to call in and express your views on other topics. Of course, that will be of a benefit to our beautiful Tri-Island. Good morning to you, caller. How are you?
Morning, GT.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, GT. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Okay. Just a few things. One, starting with your entity. Your reporter yesterday, I think maybe inadvertently made a mistake, made an error when she said this is what the parliament would look like. Mm-hmm. I think she probably meant to say this is what the government would look like in terms of the people assembled.
Okay, I didn't hear it, but guess you did.
No, I'm just saying that, just so you know, because last night on grocery program, it seemed that a lot of people are confused what the whole structure of government, because somebody was asking who is the Governor General? Mm-hmm. Which means people don't understand this thing. You don't have a new Governor General when you get in a new government, maybe a few months later or so. Mm-hmm. Also, the guy was inquiring why you don't have, where the other people, the opposition, because I think they're thinking that is the parliament, that's not the parliament. Nope. This is the government throwing in itself. Mm-hmm. And maybe if in future those people who are running for elections and so on, and even though on the opposite side, because the opposition is part of the government, people will say that, but we don't really live that. We would have thought that couldn't happen now. We know that. But probably in future, when the ministers and them are thrown in, although it would happen in parliament, but after unity and after, willingness to work together, these people could have, maybe not. Let me take back that. But it might be a little problematic. Mm-hmm. But it would be good in the future if there's some grand ceremony apart from going into the parliament when the parliament system is convened.
But isn't it, caller, just not to cut you, but isn't when the parliament resumes, that's when the opposition gets sworn in?
But all the ministers will be sworn into parliament. Mm-hmm. All of them, including the prime minister and the speaker And then for the Senate, same thing.
All right.
But what would happen now is that the leader of the opposition would go to the Governor General and convince her that he has the support of the people on his side, and she would. There didn't have to be no big ceremony for that.
Okay.
It's for the opposition, you know. But it would have been good if we had. I mean, something. I think the news people have been there and thing, but it would be good if, because the opposition is part of the government. Not part of the administration, but part of the governance system, if you understand. People just like the judiciary say things, and we don't really understand it.
Okay, cool. So, point taken, caller. Point taken.
In terms of, and then, you know, I really want to commend the government for the approach where they have what they call somebody that would help to initiate or
Caller, we seem to be getting a bit of interference. I'm not sure if it's, I'm assuming it's coming from your side of things for some reason.
Is it any better now?
Much better.
Okay, all right. I was saying that I really want to, you know, extend my appreciation for how the government have approached, the new government approached the ascent to offices. You know, it didn't just jump in like that. Mm-hmm. Some preparation was made so that, for me, this could avoid a whole set of confusion and misunderstanding. I mean, along the way. If you don't have a good foundation, your house might fall down, and that would happen most of the time. I agree. So those people who were a bit impatient, I think it seems that these people were very thinking and trying to do things. Maybe they probably don't get it right, even though they put the right people there. I mean, because it's like in a football team or a cricket team, the times you don't get things right. But at least making the attempt, trying their best to set things right. We need to get this place in order. Yes. This place being chaotic for too long. And trying to get it in the initial stages is always good too. Exactly. Now, one other thing.
Yes, go on.
Like Gary Smoot on the radio this morning, I'm very encouraged, like some of the things that people were able to talk about without feeling that they had been quiet. But he had said that one of the things that he had difficulty with every time I swear allegiance to the Queen and that kind of thing. I myself, in fact, I went to sleep feeling a little, you know, comfortable because in 1994 when the Honorable Bezan phoned in, I made public statement on that. On this very to the point program, I was ridiculed by the host at the time because I was told Grenada member of the Commonwealth, but as I said, there are other members of the Commonwealth who do not swear allegiance to the Queen. So let's hope that we can do something about that. That's the only part of that ceremony that I didn't feel comfortable about. Trust me. But the other part of it, I mean, all this, I have no quarrel with the people in the different positions. Let them see, give them a chance to see what they do. Finally, the program this morning about the violence, the brain on the child. Too many children have been damaged by parents and others in terms of the violence they experience, whether it's by observance, by seeing the violent situation. For instance, I mean, some people, they'll treat animals, they beat animals. The child sees that, it affects his brain. And then the media, the movies and violence, because whether the thing about the brain, once you feed something, it doesn't really distinguish between what is real and what is unreal enough. It can affect you.
So true.
And so we need to do something, and I really hope that the people that the administration would put on the board of the Child Protection Agency, if that is a proper name for it, would be people who understand the needs of children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thanks for your contribution this morning. It's to the point we still can entertain a couple more calls. It's 10 minutes before we wrap the program up this morning here on the K105 GBN TV. Good morning once again also to our viewers via social media. Those of you via our Facebook page, good morning and thank you for being there. Let's go over and say good morning to another caller. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Yes, I have some very serious concern about the impact on our children by the cell phones, the tablets, and above all, what is played on the various radio stations in this country, polluting the airwaves. All kind of dirty, nasty lyrics, sexy, violent, and everything else being played in the airwaves of this country. And when a radio is being put on at home, all kind of DJs and other promoters on the radio, they play all kind of nasty music, say all kind of nasty things in most indecent ways, and there is no censorship. I think what is produced by radio station Grenada supposed to be placed under censorship. It is damaging the minds, the hearts, the soul, the perception of children. Even the games on the tablet and on the radio, and not on the radio, but on the cell phones. These kind of games, they induce violence in children, disrespect for authority, and all kind of things, polluting their minds. This is sad, but our radio stations, it makes me sick sometimes, what I hear on the radio stations. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution, caller. We're due for another break. Let's take it, our final one for this inside of this segment, folks. We come back, we take your last bits of calls, and we wrap the show up at the top of the hour. It's to the point. We coming right back. Don't touch your dial.
I want to be free as can be, to do what you want to do, what you like to do. I want to be free.
They say that freedom is the ability to fully experience life. The GUT Credit Union is giving you the freedom to choose. Get a loan for any purpose, whether it's consolidating your debt, buying a vehicle, owning your home, back to school, or a dream vacation. We offer competitive rates with terms and payments that fit your lifestyle. Call 440-1354. Email loans@gutcu.com or visit go.gutcu.com/freedom to start enjoying your life, your money, your way. Promotion ends September 30th, 2022. Special conditions apply. More freedom, more choices. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Hello, Grenada. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean Islands. Providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 473-440-6100. Local agents SwiftPack, Interprime Cargo. Call 473-440-6100 to book your shipments today.
So we're back to the point for today, Friday, first day of July 2022. Let's go back to the phone line and get a caller online this morning. Caller, good morning. And your radio's a wee bit too loud in the background. Could you lower it, please?
Yeah, take it off.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Go right ahead with your contribution this morning, caller.
Yes, thank you very much for taking my call. I want to support PJ.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize his voice 100%. Because it is good to talk about reform and so on. And then the Prime Minister referred to 2 constitutional reform referendums that we had. Both of them failed.
Mm-hmm.
So Grenadians not ready because as one color, we don't know what is involved. How does it affect our currency? What do we have as resources to back up to keep our currency stable? And as you said, one person said the currency is not only stable, one of the most stable currency in the region, but in the world, and it is true. So we just don't jump up and say, yes, we want reform. There can be some reform, but what? What would affect our currency? What would it become? We have to be very cautious, very careful. And I think that is the Prime Minister was correct in saying he's not giving that any high priority right now. There are too much things in this nation to look after, to rectify, to reverse, to check on to see what we have been doing before we can talk about these things. One of the things I would really like the government to examine very carefully is our relationship to the Chinese. because they have been in Africa and they have ruined many countries in Africa, put them in debt that they cannot pay, and then they grab up all the infrastructure and rent it for how much 100 years so that they have control. That is a form of colonization. And I mentioned that years ago, and I was as though my head was cut off for it, but I don't care. We need to look at carefully what is the relationship we have with them, how much do we owe them, whatever our assets they would want to hold for this, whatever we owe them. We got to look at that because they use this debt trap as a form of colonization. And the region got to watch this. The government, they want to work with the government to continue the development. We have to be careful with the word. One commentator said some years ago, China is not transparent, very transparent in what they do with countries, and so they trap them. So we have to be careful with that. Have a blessed day, and God bless you.
You too, caller. Thanks. Have a great day yourself. It's to the point. The final 5 minutes left on the show this morning, and we take in your phone calls. 435-2041. It's to the point for today. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, morning. Sorry to come back, but I have to. This thing about the allegiance to the Queen, I'm really trying to understand it. I know from experience and what I think. Once you do that, you're going to affect your dollar. And Barbados, look how long they were independent, and they change up the dollar, but they make sure that for all these years they could stand on their own 2 feet before they demolish this Queen thing. This allegiance to the Queen not stopping us. The allegiance to the Queen don't stop us from building factories, from repairing roads, repairing all government buildings, paying workers, whatever it is. The Legion not stopping us from doing that, stopping us from, like, neighbors throwing all your cuttings, all your garbage, your dead animal in your another neighbor yard, not stopping us from dirtying the streets, staying in the buses, throwing your garbage all about. Look, I live up on Montrouge, right? Mm-hmm. And my house is below the road, and my veranda is facing there. For years, I'm complaining. There's a place right over my veranda where they're throwing the garbage right there. I get an old car bonnet, 5 pallets. I try to fix it. Everyone in this area is just dumping garbage there, even from down Montrouge. Some of the business coming up and dump the garbage there. When I sit if I could bring you and show you all this garbage coming down on me, and I'm looking and sitting in my veranda and looking at this thing and smelling this thing. Why?
Okay, caller, we strapped for time, so thanks for your contribution this morning, okay?
Right, thank you very much.
We probably could entertain one more caller. We're looking at 3 minutes moving up before the top of the hour this morning here on To The Point. Final one for this particular week, and it's the first day of a brand new month, the month of July. We could probably entertain one more caller and take a wrap for the program for today. Let's go over to the phone line. Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I just want to congratulate the new senators and the portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Senator Andy Williams and Kevin Andrews. These 2 men looking very serious.
Okay.
When they tell you they're going to do something, they will try the best. So the people who work with these people and them hope they cooperate because they is serious. Also, want to say I wish Mr. Lafayette get the cooperation. I love the position he is in because this situation is a heavy one. But with his love and care, I know he will be able to pull it. And I would like, you see, some of us,
caller, take a 30 seconds and wrap up, caller. We
need a little education to know what is how the government should function. That will help us with our ignorance, because we don't know. When you don't know something, you say and do anything outside the way. So we need some education.
Understand so much. Caller, thank you so much. Have a great day and a great weekend to come. Hey folks, that's what we take a wrap for To The Point for today. Just already 2 minutes going after the 10 o'clock hour this morning. Great week we had thus far. It's my final day on the To The Point for the week, folks. Joseph returns next week to take care of the To The Point for you. Thanks for those of you, your calls and concerns that you made. And I want to say thank you once again. Have a great day today, folks. So once again, thank our viewers via GBN TV, channel 711 and 20. Let's say thanks to our viewers once again at those of you via social media, Facebook to be precise, and YouTube. Our listeners via K105, thank you also for being part of To The Point. This way GT say goodbye for today, and have yourself a great weekend also. Have yourself a good one, folks. That's where we come to the end of To The Point for today.